living with two worlds. There's another benefit that we have as regular human beings over the alchemist. And that is that the alchemist, as I've discussed previously, is always afraid of the king. He's afraid that he's engaged in this illegal business and he might get caught. How many people do we know have run illegal businesses, run their lives a certain way, thinking they're, not going to get caught, but always looking over their shoulder? Stories like when Bernie Madoff unfortunately did what he did and, stole, millions and billions of dollars from my own school. I went to Yeshiva University when, our school was a victim. But, no matter what, these people that conduct themselves in this way could never live a peaceful life, because what they're doing that's illegal will never allow them to relax. Just like somebody who is constantly lying and living a lie. He always has to remember his lies and live around what he said previously, trying not to get caught. It's not being free as we know it. So Moshe Rabbeinu teaches us that we shouldn't cry when we have times of difficulty. We should call out to God. We should speak to Hashem directly. We have a story of Rabbi Ephraim Washman. It tells us of the story of the Lubavitcher Rebbe, Rav Yosef Yitzchak, who was living in communist Russia. And there were these KGB officers that were interrogating them, torturing, and threatening, the Jewish people. And an officer came up to him and said, "This toy has frightened many brave people," waving it around, trying to scare him of his weapon, waving his gun. And his response was very interesting. He said, "He who believed in one God and two worlds was not afraid." He's basically saying that for somebody who doesn't believe in God or only believes in one world should be scared, but he believes in two worlds and therefore he's not worried. And as a result, the rabbi was not intimidated at all and the officer completely backed off. What this tells us is that if a person believes only in one world, which is the Olam Hazeh, then he's constantly living in fear, in these fears that are forcing his, fears that are controlling his life. Because at any moment, you could say, "Oh, well, what if I get hit by a bus? What if something happens to me? What if something happens to my family? What if I don't make it tomorrow? What if I get sick?" And you're constantly living in fear. You cannot live a relaxed life and do what you're set out to do as a mission in this world if you're living in this way. But if you know that there's Olam Hazeh and Olam Haba, you know that whatever you're doing here, if it comes to the point where you are going to be forced to be in a lethal situation where you completely have to cease to exist, then okay, we have Olam Haba. We have the future, the next world, to allow our legacy to continue, to allow our soul to thrive. So somebody who goes and lives their day-to-day life knowing this and knowing that there's these two worlds is not afraid of other people's power. So in the same situation we said earlier with the KGB officer, he would not be afraid. Of course, again, I was never in that situation, so I cannot say and speak, but there were many situations that I've been in, that I've seen, been around some pretty intimidating people. And I can tell you that having my trust in Hashem, having my trust in the Kadosh Baruch Hu, really led me to not be frightened at all. So, and the book clearly states, the Chovot HaLevavot states that people and even animals are in awe of the Baal Bitachon. Be that person that it fears HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and you will see that the people around you will be in awe of your ability. We see this point in the Navi where there's an episode of Daniel where he was thrown into the lion's den. And all the Ba'al Bitachon should feel is not only not Daniel, but all the Ba'al Bitachon should feel is Hashem's constant protection, just like when Daniel was thrown into the lion's den. And just try to be strong and not be afraid. You need to be reminded that Hashem's protection is always there. Hashem is there to guide you and to save you in any of these situations. Thank you very much.